additional franchisee fees for electric revenues.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Comment card?
Yes. Do you have any comment cards?
Mayor and Commissioners, for the record, Larry Johnson, Water Utility Director, is that in this case,
Let me speak a bit with the mic closer.
All right.
Straight.
yeah, it's, in this case, what we're requesting is, this is a situation where we've had a fairly long-going discussion with the Village of Palm Springs regarding to franchise fees that are provided as a result of the electric revenues that are provided in the city of Palm Springs. And that as part of the agenda item and backup is that we were looking for direction from the commission as to how you would like to move forward to, resolve the continuing issues with the town of Palm Springs. We've certainly, I think, improved the relationship with the town over the last several years and with city manager's help. And that as part of this is that we were able to, actually while Steve Carr was here, that we were able to actually obtain $260,000 back from Palm Beach County, and that was provided to the Village of Palm Springs as basically payment for franchise fees that were collected for the county and then basically returned to the Palm Springs because of annexation. There still remains an amount that, because basically Palm Springs was requesting a higher percentage, a total of 16% of the revenue related to the franchise fee and utility tax, and the county only collects 10%, so there was a differential there related to the additional revenue that was not collected by Lake Worth, so that it was never collected from the citizens. And so that is still an outstanding issue, with the village. And what we're looking for is, they had provided one alternative for consideration, which was to basically for Lake Worth to provide them some of our water and sewer service area. And as you might consider, as I was not real keen on that idea. And so I'm recommending against that alternative, and we've brought up 3 or 4 other potential alternatives as far as moving forward to resolve this situation in a reasonable manner with them.
I would just like to, I can kind of give a little bit of insight into this, because I know that the city manager and I had actually gone to Palm Springs a while back, and if you look at this kind of in 2 parts, the money, the $262,000 was money that was charged and collected by the county. The county had this money, and instead that should have been paid to the town of Palm Springs. So we actually, we collected, they gave it to the county as opposed to giving it.
Those utility customers in that area, we collected the fee at the county rate. It's into the county, even though these properties over a period of time have been annexed piece by piece into the city of Palm Springs.
Right, and they had at the time had asked if we could get that money back from the county and bring it back to the town of Palm Springs, which we did.
Correct.
Correct. Now, this was money that wasn't charged, so,
They're trying to resolve the other piece, which would be the difference between what?
10%.
right.
The difference between what we charge for the county rate versus their rate.
So I don't think honestly, I mean, in my conversations with them, I don't think number one, do nothing is a viable option. I understand they want to be reimbursed for certain things. Number two, a financial settlement of claim, I don't think is possible for us to do from a financial aspect. That's a big hit, to a possible $200-something thousand hit right now. I don't think that that's good. increase the franchise fee for Palm Springs resident in the annexed area, and then collect the franchise fees that were not collected previously over a 5-year period. I think that's probably the most fair of them, because it's being collected in continuation, so we're not having to come up with all that money again. They hadn't been charged previously, so now they would just be charged what they were supposed to have been charged. And it's over a 5-year period, so it's no hit to anyone in particular. And then the third is basically giving our whole utility service over, and I think which is one of our probably prominent commercial areas, which is on 10th Avenue North, from just west of the canal to Congress Avenue. Those residential, there's a lot in that area. There's some commercial in there, office buildings, whatever, there's a lot of tenants in that area. I think that would be a big hit for us from an economic standpoint, but I just wanna give you my insight from my experiences. And then we can kind of chat about it. Commissioner Amoruso?
So Larry, if we were to look into what the mayor's recommendation would be, so you would actually start billing those clients what they should have been billed, but bill them a little bit more to make up for the difference over a 5-year period.
Yeah, we're billing them correctly now.
Okay,
It would be tagging on the amount to make up the difference that they didn't pay.
and do we know what percentage, and is it a $3 increase, is it a $50 increase over a 5-year period?
Commissioners, I think what we were looking for tonight is to get an indication of the direction that the commission would like to move in. Based on your direction, then, I'll work with the finance department and the other staff members to flesh this out as far as, exactly how it's done, and then we would bring it back for your ultimate approval. So, I think there's a lot of details that would have to be worked out to bring this back, but we wanted to get some basic direction first before we, did that, so.
I'm comfortable with that recommendation as long as we see the numbers and we know exactly what the people would be paying.
Commissioner Meyer?
Yes, I would agree with that, especially versus giving up a commission area, a service area. Definitely work something out where ultimately over a period of time, keeping in mind that we wouldn't be adding too much to their bill.
If it had to be extended longer
Yeah,
to work with that, that's fine.
once the numbers.
Commissioner McBoyd?
Just a question or two, and I want to make sure I understand some of the numbers. We recently, as we talked about our own electric situation and how we deal with our own residents, we talked about the size of franchise fees, and didn't we, and there's some difficulty of how you calculate, but didn't we come out at about 10 or 12 or something or other when you calculated
The
that?
differential,
For
we're
ours.
looking at converting over to what we would charge if we were
Right.
in, say,
Yeah.
P&Ls. It was in that range, I think, this last year, close to 10%. But the differential is not so much ours, it's.
No, I
it's
understand
county
that,
and-
but I think there's a side useful piece of information here, that our franchise fee, that we make a lot of noise about how it's too high. If it was about 10% of what we charge ourselves, and I believe that's my recollection, maybe as high as 12, but I think it was closer to 10, that's the same as what the county was asking. And Palm Springs is asking 16. So I think we need to take a little bit of a lesson here for ourselves, that the fee that we add on, that we make a lot of noise about how terrible it is on the low end of that. Now, to bring it back to the issue that you've raised with Palm Springs, yes, we apparently had an error that somehow there was communication difficulties between different parts of the city here that didn't let the electric folks, hey, you need to bill them at 16%, not at 10. But really, part of what's happening also is Palm Springs does not really want to go back to the residents and say, hey, you've annexed into the city, you're no longer at a 10% franchise, you're now at 16, and nobody charged you for that for a year or two. And we, as Palm Springs, want to collect that. So, it's unclear who needs to take the hit of telling these folks that they're going to be at 16 and not at 10. We have some culpability in that we didn't apparently didn't communicate among our different parts of the city, but they're the ones asking for the 16. I will support,
As the utility, we're the ones obligated to collect it, but I understand what you're saying.
yeah, but, and I agree with the general sentiment that I've heard here, that, you know, spreading that, if Palm Springs is insistent, Palm Springs could simply say, oh, well, we added these people on, an error, they didn't get charged the 16%, they only got charged 10 for a couple extra years while they, you know, and Palm Springs will deal with that. They could make that choice, but if they don't want to, then I would support the plan that will help them out by billing them the additional amount, spread it over 5 years, and hope they don't object too much.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. How many customers are we talking about that will be impacted by this? Ballpark.
Commissioner, I don't have the number, because this is actually it's the electric customers that are within the city of Palm Springs. And we do have, as part of the backup, there was a full list of those, but I don't have a count of those.
We can get that info.
And the other question, and I'm still a little bit unclear on this, and this goes to the city manager. If you could say that, if you could determine where the breakdown occurred, and, you know, who didn't do what maybe they could have done or should have done, where would you place that?
What's weird is in the legislation that outlines the process for communicating annexations, they were to send the notification to the utility director, which now we have two, and the CRA director. Okay, I have no idea what was going on with that. And understand too, this is just going back 3 years. This problem apparently was ferreted out and understood as an issue. We got stuck in the 3-year period because that's all the county would reimburse us, and Palm Springs understood that. So in that weird funk period, as the city went through sort of a devolution and staffing changeovers and changes on the computer systems and everything else, I really can't point a finger because it's like in many of the other problems we've uncovered over the years. It's akin to the regional sewer issue.
Okay.
It was put in the mail, and we received it or didn't receive it.
Well, but regardless,
All
the
right.
process wasn't
Okay.
working. We're trying to fix it.
Okay, so I guess the only thing that I would add to what I think we have a consensus up here to do is that we clearly communicate to those customers what the situation is, get with Palm Springs and make sure you get the story straight, so to speak, so they understand what's taking place here. And,
Now clearly Palm Springs, and I want to just say with tremendous appreciation, coming especially off the regional sewer discussions and things that we had with Palm Springs as one of the cities, we've had a great working relationship
Exactly.
in all these issues. And we resolved with a lot of work, and staff was phenomenal to get the first $262,000 back from the county, and God bless them for giving it back and returning it over. But this other issue, you know, Palm Springs, I guess, they had their idea of how they'd like to resolve it fairly quickly. I hear that you're wanting to go this route as an offer back. I imagine there's going to be some discussions back and forth about, you know, first question is going to be term. Are they going to agree to payments over years? So there's going to be a lot of shuttle diplomacy back and forth. It may even result at some point in time that we need to sit the bodies down together in good faith. And we have that kind of relationship now. We didn't always have that. Everyone was brandishing lawyers previously. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the city leadership in Palm Springs and their staff. They've been ladies and gentlemen about this from the beginning. So I just want to make that clear. I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea that they're trying to strong arm us. They're not.
They were not, and they were, and also I think that we responded very quickly to their request by assisting them and helping them to get that $262,000 back. And they are fabulous to work with and to deal
They're a
with.
great
Yeah.
working partner.
I just know that we just have a tough budget
Yeah.
session ahead here, and that's an awful lot of money that we don't have. Commissioner Morrison?
Just real quick before we move on, as we look at annexing, I know we're looking at annexing some other things back into Lake Worth. Please make sure that the departments, Larry and Jack, William, if there's anything that, cross our Ts and dot our Is, if there's anything like this that could happen to us, are there different fees, if there's different things, just make sure that, we do it when we first annex, send letters, whatever we need to do to make sure it doesn't come back a year or two afterwards.
This was weird because we're the utility provider outside the city limits.
Yeah.
In the corporate here, so it's kind of strange.
We've got a couple of cards here. Sorry, Commissioner McCoy?
Just a quick one. I think we might want to communicate, and I'm guessing that this is the sentiment of all of us here, that Palm Springs will understand that the idea of a quick payment to them of money that we don't have, that we didn't collect, they would probably understand that they would not be too keen on being in the reverse situation.
Yeah.
So.
And the other one, we collected that money and
Yeah,
went to the
and-
wrong
and
place and we
that's-
got it back, but
Yeah, and we did the right thing, and that's highly appropriate.
And we didn't receive benefit of any of that.
Of any of
We
it,
were
no.
just collecting money and pushing it to
Right.
the right spots.
correct. Okay, Peter Tim, followed by Barbara Jean Weber.
Yes, never a dull moment. Now, the backup reads that they sent us a letter to the city clerk and to the CRA. I don't know why they sent it to the CRA, but they did. And they never notified the other. And all of a sudden now they want money back. Now, as I understand it, we were taxing them at 10% when we thought it belonged to the county, and that was fair, and the county then returned that money to us, and we returned it to Palm Springs. Now, are they wanting the extra 6% on that money? If so, they don't deserve it, and I'm glad I got one no and 2 yeses. But, you know, this is in no way our fault. Because they did not contact the proper person. You would think a big town like Palm Springs would be as smart as us. Am I saying that? Oh, as smart as us. And be able to figure out who they have to contact in order to get this 16%. And my second question is it 10% for the whole county? They want 16% for their little piece of dirt? It doesn't sound very kosher to me. Maybe it does to you because you never agree with me. But that's all right, you don't talk to me anyway. Thank you very much.
Barbara Jean Weber, followed by Greg Rice.
Just a quick question. I have friends who live in Palm Springs, and good gosh and golly, when I go to visit them, they say their electric goes out all the time. Like 6 times, 7 times in the last month and a half, and I don't believe I'm speaking out of turn on that. So, anyhow, I'm just curious about that. If at anyone's leisure, a piece of information pops up, let me know about it. But I'm sure, regarding what Mr. Tim said, in some way it is a little bit irrelevant who made the error, that as communities we join hands with one another and make it amiable and friendly and loving. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg Rice?
Greg Rice, Little Center. How many of us out here actually look at our utility bills, our cell phone bills, and all these other things? And you see all these charges, these taxes and franchise fees and surcharges and all that. Most people have no idea. They just continue to pay it. So, but it is true. Any municipality can add on to whatever the franchise fee is if they want to collect an extra tax. They always could. They always can. Other cities do it. It's another income stream for them. It's just part of the way that system is set up. But and here's the last thing. It's just like all the crap going on in the Middle East. We could give all those countries all the money in the world, and they're still not going to like it. People that are not in love with coming home at night, turning on the light switch, and the lights are on, the air conditioner blowing out nice cold air. That they love that, except for with the utility bill. Because I don't care how much you charge them or how little you charge them, they're not gonna be happy, they're never happy when that bill comes in. So, and second of all, with all the great improvements this utility has made, the electric utility and the water utility, especially over the last few years, if you go online to social media stuff, there's shit, you see them all the time.
Point of
Threads after
order,
threads.
watch your mouth there,
Excuse me.
mister.
Threads longer than, taller than I am about how Lake Worth Utility sucks. So they don't like us anyhow, screw them. Add on the extra 6 cents and let them get their money back. Thank you.
I get a bar of soap for you, Mr. Rice. He is potty mouth today.
7 seconds.
We've got a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor? Oh, wait, we don't have a motion. Recommendation, we recommended.
Yeah.
We have recommended. Ta-da!
What?
The direction, okay. Moving
I
on.
just want to clarify one thing, the notification process for the city, that was spelled out in the governing ordinance that says that they notify the clerk and the CRA director. I can't tell you why it's written that way. So
In
they
our
were,
government ordinance, or?
the agreement between the two cities,
That was written into.
that wasn't by
ordinance.
random that they were just doing that. Now, when it got over here, I don't know where it went, cause
It's not
I
even a
was.
CRA district.
Right? And we uncover these kinds of things frequently, so we're.
It's one of those things that make you go,
So when Commissioner Maxwell asked, who's responsible, I don't know, this just sort of evolved into this mess.
Commissioner Meyer?
Can we give direction today to try to correct this?
Oh,
You know,
well, yeah,
rather
we've changed our process,
Yeah.
Commissioner Meyer, and with good reason. That was done a while back, but I don't know how it got.
So the direction is to go back, Larry, and to talk about, we're not gonna give our services away in that area, that's a lucrative area for our city, we don't have the money to pay $275,000 right now, so look towards amortizing it over additional payments.
Thank you.
Thank you. 12D, First Amendment to an agreement with USP Technologies to provide odor control treatment in the city's sewer collection system.
So moved.
I've got a motion from the Vice Mayor, seconded by the Vice Mayor Pro Tem. We have any cards on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.